Hello teacups, what's brewing? I'm a little bit late with the react. I'm usually a bit faster. I'm going to put a timestamp down below so that if you're just here for the reaction, skip on ahead. But a little update with me first, so if you're not interested, go on along. I was a bit late with this because I had a few things going on. I had some time sensitive stuff I had to do at work. We had some things we had to get graded, some tests and stuff, and you don't get a lot of time to do it. So this video came out, was it yesterday? Am I losing my days? But it came out, I woke up, I downloaded it ready. Apparently it's already gone, so this has now been deleted, but she left it up for a little bit, I think. I thought it was safe to not download it, but I did just in case. So I'm glad I did now. I then went to work, and after work I met up with one of my teammates at the little restaurant in the front of our compound, because she lives near the front of the compound. And we just sat down and blitzed our work together, so I didn't finish that till like 8 or 9 p.m. I'm glad I did it, but each of these reacts, because I go in, I cut lots of little bits, and filming, editing, exporting, uploading, it takes 5 to 6 hours for me to do an average video for me with the way I do it. It's not all active time, but I can't really use my computer while it's exporting and stuff, so yeah, I mean, it takes time, and just frankly, I wasn't willing to do it. You guys, I slept till noon today. I had really bad sleep all of this week, and and then I finished yesterday doing all my work, and I was like, oh, I slept till noon, and I do not regret. I do not regret, but it does mean that I'm currently filming. It is 7:27. So God knows what time this is gonna go out. I'm probably gonna regret this coffee. Exciting news for me that was also going on yesterday. Before I say anything else, I always forget to tell you. Makeup today is the Natasha Denona Love palette and the Love Glow Cheek palette that came with that collection. And the lips are the NYX Professional Suede Matte Lip Liner in San Diego. And the NYX Butter Gloss in, oh, where's the sticker gone? Angel Food Cake. So that's what I've got on the eyes today, if you were wondering. I always forget to tell you, and then you're like, what makeup are you wearing today? Oh, you guys, Sephora has a November event on. They had 40% off Natasha Denona, which is why I bought this. I was like, oh. I was annoyed though, because I bought the palettes about, I want to say a month ago, and the Sunrise palette, which was the other palette I bought, was 40% off. It pained me, you guys, but there we go, it's fine. But the exciting news for me, you guys, I wasn't going to go home this winter holiday, because the winter holiday starts for us, the first full day is January 1st. And we have about 2.5 weeks, but by the time you take in quarantine, I was just like, it's not worth going home, because I have to isolate, and then I can't go out and do anything. And we only have 2.5 weeks, so if I do 2 weeks quarantine, I don't have time to come back and do a week isolation here in order to get back to work on time. So our work contacted us, I want to say day before yesterday, maybe it was yesterday, losing my days, I'm sorry, and said, hey, we really appreciate all the efforts everyone's been making, especially with the work from home. And bear in mind, we were on total lockdown during the summer, like curfewed lockdown. We couldn't do anything. All the flights were down, we couldn't go home. And they've said, in order for you to be able to see your families, we still need you to work, but we're willing to let you do work from home, as in your home country, so that you can visit your families. So what they're actually doing is they're releasing us to go home on December 10th, after work on December 10th, because we work Sunday, Thursday. If we can get home and get set up to do our work online by the following Sunday, by the end of the weekend, we can do that for the last 2 weeks. And so that gives us time to quarantine at home, see everybody, and then be back. I think the cutoff date is the 7th or the 8th, something like that. We have to be back in Saudi by then, so that we can do a week quarantine in time to be back in the building. Now, at the moment, the government is saying we should be back in person work by the second half. so what would have been after the winter holiday. But there are rumours going around saying that won't happen, so we're not sure. But we have to plan in the event that it will happen. So they're basically just saying, okay, no, we'll allow you to leave earlier, provided you finish your contracted work hours from wherever you are, and then you get to see your family and you guys. I'm so excited. Like, one, it means I'm actually going to be home for Christmas, which wasn't going to happen with the winter holiday as it was, because they don't celebrate Christmas here, obviously. And it just means I get to see everybody, and that wasn't what I was going to be able to do, you know? It's just it's so exciting for me, because I was talking about this in a recent video saying, you know, I'm not going to be going home in the winter, I'm not going to be able to, and with all the quarantine stuff, and by the time I get home in the summer, that will mean it's been 2 years since I've seen my family, and now I get to see them a bit early. So I was very excited, and that was all going on. I booked a flight home, and then the UK announced they were going back into full lockdown. And I was like, oh, great. But that's due to finish December 2nd, I believe, and I don't fly until December 11th. And I think because I'm a British national, they can't actually refuse me entry if there are still flights going. So fingers crossed. But yeah, exciting time. But all that meant basically I had more things going on than Foodie Beauty. So I just didn't bother with it. If it's too late because it's been dog years in internet time, maybe it's too late and no one cares on my take on it. But let's get into the video anyway. Thanks for listening to me ramble.
Oh, God!
Oh.
I want to talk about something.
She does sound like she filmed this whole first section in a tumble dryer. So the sound quality is going to go appalling. She's also driving in the dark. It's going to be a black square. There's nothing I can do about it.
Well, I'm driving, and it's, I have to keep my eyes on the road, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
I
no.
can't look at you guys.
Fortunately,
not
she's
unfortunately,
doing
I
it.
have to look at the road.
Yeah.
I have some things I want to talk about, so I'm just going to do a collective hello to everybody.
She's being deliberately very
Everything is
upbeat.
going well. You're probably going to hear me more out of breath than usual because I had to stop my inhaler medications for 2 days, past 2 days now, because I'm going for a test on my lungs. So, anyways.
Her breathing has been significantly worse recently. One of the lives she did during Vlogtober, she was just sitting there struggling, but still went to the drive-through before she went to the pharmacy. So as much as it's terrible, I'm still struggling with mine. I had to use my inhaler about an hour ago. I'm sympathetic because I struggle with it myself, but at the same time, the way you prioritize certain health things in your life, was it the last video she admitted she hadn't been taking the medication regularly anyway? Like, it sucks, but you make things worse for yourself.
I want to ask everybody a favor, okay? I cannot keep suckering myself back into drama, into worrying about what people are saying about me.
This is not news. She is freezing like, oh, I can't worry about it, I can't. Didn't she do a community post quite recently saying exactly that? And so what she's hoping to achieve with this saying, I can't keep doing this, you're literally filming this. So what are you doing if not just perpetuating it?
I'm moving along, I'm doing my videos, and nice and happy, and then somebody antagonizes, like somebody sends me something. I ask you
Come on now.
to not do that.
Yeah, so she did put this in a community tab recently when she was like, it's the last time addressing the hate, I'm not going to give them all this attention while like coming to my channel, coming to Glory's channel, putting up things about Charlie Gold and Glory on her community tab that she then took down. She gives them a lot of attention, and we've always said, like, just ignore it. But to say that the whole situation becomes antagonized because people send her stuff is just a lie. She goes searching. You know she goes searching. We know from how she reacts, the things she does in videos, the things she posts, that she is aware of what the community is saying about her. And I don't for a second think her involvement is completely passive. So to be like, I need you to not do this. Well, you also need to not chase it, because when people don't, she chases it.
Please, just ignore. Don't pay attention. I don't need to know. Honestly, I don't care. I know you're going to say, yes, you do care because you react. But overall, really, I don't. So,
You don't care enough to make this video. Think about that. Think about your words versus your actions. And this goes back to as well, in the community post she posted recently asking the same thing. She said, don't do it. But then, was it in the last day or two, she posted a note saying, thank you to those who have sent me the information. I'm going to send it to my YouTube agent, because she was trying to get Glory taken down, who is now back, by the way. She has a new channel up. So, it's all very well saying I don't want to be part of this, but then to thank people when they do it gives a very mixed message. So she doesn't care if you're telling her she wants to give the appearance that she doesn't care, which she's also failing at, because if you don't care, you don't care enough to talk about it. This is all going back to sort of her striking channels and her being worried about hers being struck in return. And we'll just let her get into this a little bit more, but I've got more to say on that.
I'd be happy just ignoring it. So I don't care what people are saying, just please ignore. Please don't tell me about it. And for a little while, I'm not doing this to punish my viewers, my loyal fans, whatever. I'm doing this for myself. I've opened a personal email for important matters, but my Big Beautiful Me email that I made public, I'm not checking it for a while. I'm not gonna.
So just take it off your videos. You don't need to. It's fine, don't check it, but I don't understand what you're hoping to achieve here. You've opened up something else for the important people you can trust to not ever give you criticism. That's fine, but just remove the email and don't tell anyone. Just done.
And check it. I'm also not accepting new messages on Instagram. I've turned off my comments on Instagram. Just
that doesn't surprise me.
So that I can get ahead and go a long time without mentioning anybody that's involving me in this room. I don't
define a long time.
Do it, because as much as I say that, people are bullying me, people are being assholes, I'm involving myself in it.
Yes, you are. And another point, if you don't care, there's no reason for you to care if people are sending you this shit. By all means, tell people not to, but you can't control what people are going to do, and yet people like to poke, people like to start drama, because they know that I want to say you can't help yourself, but you can help yourself, you choose not to. So I get what you're trying to avoid, but the issue here is really your response, because you clearly care. And if you don't care so long as you don't see it, but when you do, you go absolutely nuts online, that's not you not caring, yeah?
And I honestly think that if I just from the get-go did not even acknowledge anybody, I wouldn't be where I am today.
That is likely true, I agree. But you did, so that's not where we are.
I don't want to be involved, so I'm absolutely 100% gonna try this.
Try or do?
You know what I mean? And I need to stay off my community posts.
Yeah, she really does. It's personal Twitter for her, and it doesn't go well. Can I ask another question then? Why aren't you just blocking the people sending you this information? Wouldn't that be a better idea? To say, yes, okay, you've announced it, but you've announced it multiple times. There's no reason for anyone to take it absolutely seriously, because you've gone back on it so many times. Within, I want to say the last week, I can't remember the exact dates, but you've gone back on it recently. Your actions have not matched the intent you have announced. Let's put it that way. So if people are doing this and continue to do it, give them a warning, and if they don't do it, block them. Hey, you've sent me the stuff, thanks, I'm trying to avoid the drama, just if you see it, ignore it, delete. They do it a second time, okay, I'm blocking you, done. Everyone deserves a warning, because everyone needs to have a chance to change their behavior. But if they're not changing their behavior, then you take action. So saying, no, please don't, isn't gonna help. Like, do something about it or stop complaining about it. Block those channels, block those people. But this is not a symbol of not caring.
People who send me things, there's a mixture of people who are worried and are looking out for me, but then there's some people who, I've never heard of and just want to just keep the drama going.
Yeah. So if you know that, why did you blow up when you received that email claiming to be from Charlie Gold that you yourself admitted probably wasn't from her? If you know people do it just to watch you explode, why do you keep exploding? It is 100% in your control to stop any of that information reaching you and to stop reaching out to find it. Your own curiosity, your own need to win approval from people and to have compliments, that is your downfall here. Because in blocking certain conversations, you then lose the chance to communicate with people, like in the comments. You like all the good stuff, but you can't take the bad stuff. And that's unfortunate for you, but this isn't going to help you.
You know what I mean? There's people who are waiting for the community post to go up. Make them laugh,
Yeah.
Or they're waiting for me to do bitchy videos or to do videos like this.
And you know what? And videos like this, and you never disappoint us. That's the thing. This is the only thing on YouTube that you are 100% consistent with. It's this stuff. If you'd stop doing it, they'd stop trying to make you do it.
At the end of the day, I have to really ask myself, is it worth me raging and going to YouTube behind the scenes and going to the internal team and saying, this channel with like 1,000 subscribers is calling me a bitch cunt? Because I'm thinking, people are like, do you really care what somebody, this person is really, if they think you're a bitch cunt?
You shouldn't care. Like, they're a stranger on the internet. Why care? And you could actually put that argument to a much wider field. You could say, why do I care what Chantal does? Because I'm a reaction channel, I clearly have an opinion. I care because I find her very interesting. I find the way she deals with food very reminiscent of the way I deal with food. And mostly this kind of drama, I'm like, wow, that's what keeps me interested. This is what perpetuates my interest. And I'm just like, okay, that's a choice. And I keep watching. So, in terms of loyal subscribers, here I am. But if it's going to cause her this amount of emotion, I can switch off when I need to, but she can't do the same. And that's the thing. If she's going to build her income around being online, she needs to be able to accept certain elements of being online. And she can't. She really, really struggles with that. But with this, one of the things I told her, when she came to my channel, I responded to one of her comments after she apologized to me. And I just said, I can't remember my exact wording, but the point I was making to her was, do yourself a favor and ignore what smaller channels are saying. It was this, because every time you explode, you put your own channel in danger. And recently there was a push to report channels. And she reported channels and people were going from reporting hers. And basically the point I would say is that her own history is not pristine. And so her place, while some channels, their language is very inflammatory, and so it's a much easier case to make when you're reporting it, to be like, look, they're saying this. So I get why she was able to get YouTube to take Gloria's channel down, because on the surface, you look at it, you're like, in terms of YouTube coming in as a team and determining whether it could be considered harassment. But like I said, Gloria's back now, and apparently Chantal's realized that this is a two-edged sword. And even if she deletes videos, even if she hides videos, YouTube have a record of that. They can go in and they can see what she's been doing, because this isn't their first rodeo. And you really think she's the first creator to do something problematic and then try and erase it from history? Absolutely not. So she's in a far more precarious situation with some of the stuff she's put online than she necessarily admits to. And that's where this has come from. It's not some massive shift in her moral self or some massive realization of where she is. It's just the fact that her position, for all she was feeling very smug about coming over and you know, sticking it to the haters and getting a channel taken down, she now realizes what she's opened herself up for, and it's not good.
And the answer really is no, I don't. So, you know, it's just not worth it. If you want to have your channel and you want to call me a cunt, go ahead. I really don't care if you think I'm a cunt.
Is that what this is? Not caring?
You know, maybe I am. Oh well.
Maybe you are, oh well, which is a fine attitude to have. You be anything you want to be online, but stop raging about it. If you are confident in what you put out, if you really don't care, there's no need for a conversation. Just you be you and you be happy with it. But you're neither of those things.
Okay. So, anyways, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I've been just wasting energy on things that don't really fucking matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you are.
You know, so many of you love my videos, and even a lot of reaction channels, they must think something, they must have enjoyed something about watching me.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, like...
I find you interesting. I occasionally find you insulting, unbelievable, and frustrating, but there is a level of engagement in me watching you that definitely does exist. If I didn't care, I wouldn't watch, I wouldn't respond. So to say, oh no, I don't care about Chantal, I do care about Chantal.
And I don't think you guys understand. I never had a problem with certain reaction channels. And
what unmitigated bullshit. I've never had a problem with constructive criticism. Oh, sweetheart. No. You have a problem with everything ever said against you because you have no off button. We are where we are. I'm not gonna, I'll give you advice and say you really need to distance yourself emotionally a little bit from what happens, but we are where we are with it. But to say you don't care, you care about everything. Let's be clear.
it's just like certain ones that are just absolutely violating the terms, like absolutely bullying, just like constantly calling you a fat bitch and, you know, that kind of thing. But in the end of the day, again, I don't really care. Like, you know, so why bother wasting my energy? You know, so...
You'd have to, that's a great question. I'd love if you'd answer it for us. Because you do it again, and you do it again, and spoiler alert, before this video ends, she's going to be raging about it again. She doesn't believe a thing she's saying here. She's saying it to try and protect herself and her channel against YouTube, then turning around after people respond to her reports and say, well, this is what's going on with her channel, this is what she's been saying, this is what she's been doing, and she has no defense herself.
Anyway, I'm not saying you know, so, okay?
No, you're not.
Anyways, so that's what I'm doing. I'm not checking those emails. Whatever, you know. There's people doing big campaigns to get my channel taken down, and it's like, let me tell you something. Alright, you can do what you gotta do if you feel that way, but I'll tell you right now, that would be discrimination on YouTube's part, because then they would have to take down.
Sorry, that was pretty mangled up, but I think she said something like that would be pure discrimination on YouTube's part. The terms and services do not protect fat people as an intrinsic element. There's a better word for that. Sorry, an intrinsic attribute, because being fat is not something unchangeable that you are born with. The way, say, the color of your skin is, for example, and some other things. So it's not a protected class of people under YouTube rules. Now, I do agree there would be a lot of difficulty in outlining a policy in terms of who's going too far with food. because we don't see a lot. But eating disorders and the promotion and the discussion of eating disorders in a lot of ways is something YouTube goes against. Now, again, the report system is pretty broken. The fact that it is applied very unevenly across their platform is an issue. But whether she's spoken about it recently or not, she has admitted on multiple occasions about having an eating disorder. She has labeled thumbnails late night depression binge. She's done a lot of stuff that puts her in a pretty poor position. So the only reason she's bringing this up is because she's trying to stop people from reporting her videos, because it's going to be a tough sell if she actually has to answer for this.
Every single mukbanger who even eats more than me, you can't say a skinny mukbanger can eat tons of food. Or
You can, to this extent. You can look at somebody who appears physically healthy, who has an online presence showing them to live an otherwise healthy life, who eats food, and then you can compare it to you, who has a clear surrounding element of, I have admitted to an eating disorder, I am visibly unhealthy, I have admitted to many health concerns that are affected by my weight, and I binge on camera. So I think it would be a difficult thing for them to figure out, but I think there is a clear distinction between mukbangers like you, like, I don't really know the history of Hungry Fat Chick, but in terms of the visible damage you're doing yourself versus a thinner mukbanger, I think there is a clear difference. Now, whether YouTube will do something about that, I don't know. But YouTube is a private company. They can just say, okay, well, blanket rule, we're not going to do any of it. They could. You don't know, and that's why you're worried about this.
another overweight mukbanger can eat tons of food on the platform, but one person can't because you don't like them and you want to seek your vengeance against them.
No, one person can't, because the otherwise healthy mukbanger versus the admitted food addict with binging and depression and all the other medical things that are made worse by food. There is a difference if you want to argue it. Whether YouTube wants to argue it or not, I don't know. I don't think they take down her channel for being a mukbanger, but at the same time, she's also got several issues where she has doubled down on being racist and been bullying to other people. Now, you can argue, well, that was in response, she had a right to defend herself, blah, blah, blah. I don't care which side of the argument you're on. I'm saying if you're making and building a case for her channel to be put down, she is not on solid ground here.
Or, because you think I'm glorifying obesity because I'm not doing weight loss on my channel, because I'm not giving you an explanation or proving to you that I hate myself and that I need to share my weight loss with you. I'm sorry, but you can't kick off an obese person off of YouTube for eating something other than a salad. Sure.
Yeah, they can. They might get backlash for it, but they can kick anyone they want off it. They choose to monetize your videos. And even if they didn't cancel your channel, they could say, okay, no, you're welcome to use YouTube, but we're not going to pay you for it. It's too grey an area, and we're going to err on the side of caution and say, okay, we're not monetizing you. They don't have to completely shut down your channel to do that, but they can choose not to reward you for it.
A long time ago, I had a different mindset. I was caught up in diet culture, and I was going from diet to diet. You guys saw the cycle, endless cycle of diet, cleanses, medical medium, whatever. I'm not even saying that medical medium is bad. I'm just saying.
Why aren't you saying medical medium is bad? It's a terrible thing. I'm not getting into it.
I've been through everything and trying to lose the weight when the real work had to happen on the inside first. Had to happen with, it's not about, okay, I'm going to eat boiled fish and greens, or I'm just going to eat protein, no carbs. That's not the way, YouTube can't discriminate against what people are eating no matter what size they are.
Again, YouTube can choose to monetize anything they want to. But I would say, if anything, this reference you're making to how many times you've tried diets, and frankly, how ridiculous it got in some places. is only going to bolster the argument that they shouldn't be paying you to eat online, especially with the kinds of things you eat. So are they going to demonetize you for not eating a salad? No. But are they going to demonetize you for eating the entire McDonald's breakfast menu with a history of binge eating and other eating disorders while making overtly racist comments? Yeah, they might.
I have no idea how they're treating. Even if I had an eating disorder, I haven't talked about it on my channel in forever.
You have one that you claimed had been diagnosed. That might be a lie, but you claimed it had been diagnosed by a doctor, and it doesn't matter how long ago that was that you spoke about it. You claimed it, you made videos on it, you cashed in on it. So now that particular gravy chain might be coming to an end. YouTube is getting stricter on that. We don't know, like we say, their policies are unevenly applied. But you absolutely did say you had an eating disorder.
And even if I do, they can't discriminate and say, oh, she's eating a big bowl of pasta. They don't know what I'm eating on the outside, because I'll tell you right now.
Doesn't matter what you're eating around it. It matters what you're showing on camera and what you're saying on camera. You're saying you have an eating disorder, you have depression, you binge eat, and you're eating an entire McDonald's menu. For example.
I've discovered were never, like, any binging I ever did was off camera at night. That's the hidden pizza boxes in the closet.
I don't care.
It was never.
Whether you do worse binges off camera or not, we've discussed before, she has a big issue with how she labels binges. And she's saying, well, this isn't a binge. But then in saying, well, this isn't a binge, mentally that sort of justifies it. It allows her to do it without admitting to herself that she's binging. It legitimizes it in many ways. She's like, well, no, this is for a mukbang. And it is binging, but in her head she has very separate categories because that's just how she works. So she's like, I'm only binging on camera. Well then, I don't think, if you're saying what you eat on camera is what you normally eat, I don't think that's a good thing either.
Even if I ate large quantities on camera, it was never compared to some of these mukbangers. So please, have a seat and don't break the chair, okay? I'm sorry.
I'd be very careful. Speaking of, have a seat and don't break the chair. Honey child now, please. Have a seat and don't break the chair. Be very, very careful.
But it's just ridiculous. And yeah, so anyways, I don't owe you any explanation. I'm a fat person.
You keep giving it.
Neither does Jen, neither does Amy, neither does Amber Red. Nope.
God forbid we get through one of these videos without her linking herself to Amber Lynn in some way. God forbid, even though they're definitely not linked, you guys. How dare you?
Nobody obese or death fat, as your lovely, non-condescending, non-fat shaming term.
Death fat comes from Kiwi Farms. It's linked to, I think it was from Kiwi Farms actually. If I'm wrong, please correct me. It's used prolifically on Kiwi Farms. Whether they originated the term or not, I can't remember. But it comes from morbid death, obesity, fat. It's a pretty insulting term, but it's just a rework of the word. And I love it. She's like, I don't go onto forums. I don't check it. It's all brought to me. Well, clearly you've done some time on Kiwi Farms, otherwise you wouldn't know that term.
None of us owe you an explanation for our double chin, for our fupa. I don't care if you are disgusted by my double chin. I don't care if you think you call me fupa or whatever.
It sounds a lot like you care. This isn't striking me as someone who doesn't care. This seems like you're putting a lot of energy into it.
Whatever, it doesn't bother me anymore. So therefore, you don't have any power over me. And honestly,
we have enough power that you're driving through the pitch dark, ranting at the internet. Like that seems powerful to me. It's pushing you to do these things. I think you are shit scared right now that you may have gone too far and the backlash might actually have an effect on you. And for the record, I hope it doesn't. I don't want her channel taken down because she got nothing else and I wouldn't wish that on her. But I think she does need to do some hard thinking in terms of cause and effect in her actions having consequences, because that's what she always forgets when she's in the middle of her rage. She herself is not untouchable.
All people have a right to be on social media.
Mm-hmm.
This is our workplace. We have a right to be in our workplace without being bullied and harassed. Yes.
You choose to be here. Yes, it's your workplace, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. You choose to be here. It's also social media. It's also the internet. And if you are going to put yourself in a public space, you are going to be subject to public opinion. And this is the thing she's never, ever going to be able to accept.
You know, I do my videos. I eat on camera.
I strike channels. I rant. I go on racist double downs. I bully people. I threaten to call CPS. God, why can't you guys just leave me alone?
I don't make videos about other people calling them cunts or bitches. You know what I mean? So
I feel like she's used, maybe not in videos. I might be wrong in that. I feel like she's called Charlie Golden bitch once or twice. I mean, there's a lot of names exchanged between them, but maybe I'm wrong.
you know what? Enough with your tirades. I mean, I'm so glad I don't have Twitter. Why do people waste their time and energy on other people on Twitter all day?
You do it all on your community tab, that's why.
I'm making my videos and living my life. I'm not perfect. I have issues, like, you know, I'm overweight, but there's a lot worse things you can be than overweight, and that's evident.
That's true.
So,
there are a lot worse things you can be than overweight, but there's only, I think, a small percentage of your audience that has a problem with the fact that you're fat. Your fat is a secondary issue to a lot of the other things you do.
wasting enough energy talking about this stuff, it really, really does just really put me in a bad space when I even acknowledge it. So
I
please,
believe that, but
your
you're here
followers,
acknowledging
do
it.
not message me. I'm not checking my messages for that reason because I know people still will. And people.
Someone put a timer, please, between this video and the next time she addresses it, because I want to know what kind of averages we're looking at.
Some people won't even watch this live, but I am not going to check my emails. I'm not going to check my messages.
Okay. Actions speak louder than words, so do it. But keep doing it.
Comments, well, you know, I'm barely gonna even check those anymore, honestly. I'm just gonna I do like seeing the nice comments from you guys, but whatever. I mean, I'll still get a non-person here and there. I'm just gonna delete it right away. I'm not even gonna,
Well, that's no change. She does that now.
you know, acknowledge it. I appreciate those of you who are concerned or just, you know, letting me know what's going on. I don't need to know. It actually does more damage for me knowing these things than not, you know.
But not knowing them is going to kill her. If it's not brought to her, she'll go looking.
I mean, so anyway, to the point where it's like messy to the extreme.
You make it messy. It does get extreme because you get involved. A lot of what happens to you is squarely down to you. Now guys, this is getting on a little bit. I'm gonna start skipping through for any particular points that I want to get into because we're already pretty far into this video. I've watched it once, but it's been a couple of days, so I'm just gonna see what I see. So if it starts jumping around or missing bigger chunks, that's why, okay?
There's always going to be hateful people or jealous people. And, you know, you can say, why would I be jealous of you? Well, if people see that you're happy and being successful and not affected by their hatred, they get mad at that.
I think this came a bit sooner than I thought. Sorry, guys. I would agree. There are some people who are like that, but I think the percentage of people is far smaller than you give it credit for. If you came on here and you were happy and you were successful in your channel, because your channel does grow, you got 80,000, that's fair. If your channel was growing and you were happy and you were being successful and you were all fine about it, then that would be something different. But you come on, you complain about how you're feeling terrible, you talk about your doctor's visit, you visibly cannot breathe, and you rant constantly. You are not happy in what you're doing. You're never happy. And that's the thing. That's why people come back and poke and say, what? Now, whether people get jealous of success is down to them. Personally, when I see someone succeeding, if it does poke something in me and I'm like, oh, why can't I be that way? I look at my choices and I see if there's something I could change. I had a situation a few years ago where I was looking around at myself in my career and I was seeing how some people I had started in the same place with were going further or were doing things I wanted to do, and it left me feeling kind of dissatisfied. And I ended up going and getting my master's because I knew, however hard that was, it was going to give me more opportunities and allow me to move in a way that I wanted to move, but I needed to do the work to have that happen. That is what other people's success do to me. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do that. So frustrating. But then you affect a change in your behavior and you use it to motivate yourself. Now, not everybody does that. I do understand there is a range of humanity that comes to her channel, but she makes a lot of assumptions sometimes, and I'm just like, really? Is that what you would do in that situation? It's a lot more telling of her own mentality than it is of anybody else's. She would be jealous of somebody else's success while doing nothing to change her own and ranting at everybody for doing it.
A lot of people, I've learned that, and I've been naive a lot of my life. A lot of people don't want to see you succeed. A lot of people don't want to see you happy.
I don't think she's been naive a lot of her life. I think she's been stubbornly, deliberately blind a lot of her life because whatever she's seeing isn't fitting what she wants to see.
And a lot of people, for some reason, really think that being a fat person who chooses not to be miserable and hateful towards myself every day as glorifying obesity.
I don't think she glorifies obesity because I don't think there's anything particularly glorious about her. I think there is an argument for saying I embrace my body and I embrace that it's not perfect and I want to be happy within it. But I think with how the fact that her body is actively killing her through completely controllable means, I think it's a different situation she finds herself in. I'm going to start skipping. This is getting on. Can I also say at this point, where is she coming from or to right now? The only time we ever see her driving around like in the dark like this is when she's going to get or eat food. So I'm wondering what thought process led her to this point. She's clearly not happy at having to make this type of video. I don't think naturally she wants to be like, just leave me out of it. I don't think I think it would do her a lot of good mentally, but I don't think her motivations are quite so clean cut there. I do think it's 100% just trying to desperately protect her channel, which, whatever, I can see why she'd do it because she's very reliant on that channel. But just as a side note to this, what's she doing right now, or what has she been doing to be in the car in pitch black driving long enough to talk to us like this? Because she only ever goes that far for binges.
I'm not going to ask people to go and flag channels because, yeah, that's against the terms and conditions or whatever you want to call it. But people have a right to, if you see bullying videos and you want to report them yourself, go ahead.
Technically, she has not said the words there. So would it hold up in a court of law? But obviously she wants them to go and report people here. So she's learned nothing from this whole thing. Even as she's saying, I don't want the drama, don't include me, she's trying to whip up a mob to go mass report people. Like that's the intention with that. And this is my problem with all the times, and it is so many times that she goes around saying, no, I don't want to be, I don't want to be part of this, I don't want to be part of this. Is that she can't stop herself, even when it's going to be massively detrimental to the point she's making. She can't stop and help but want to lash out back. And I realize she gets a lot of shit and that might be where she is, but if you're going to say you're taking the high road, you can't do it swinging a hammer. You know, that's not how this works. So for all you didn't say go report people, you clearly, with the intention there, said, I'm not allowed to tell you this, but you know it's possible. It's not a good look. And this kind of action is not backing up your words. When I say actions speak louder than words, what you're choosing to do here is not helpful.
If I see something, maybe I'll do that. But I don't want to talk about it on my channel. I don't want to hear about it.
Despite the fact you just did.
It's just better for my mental health. It's better for the health of my channel if I don't know about it.
Well, yeah, because, you know, YouTube might take you down, but my mental health. No, we don't get to go back into mental health after this. This is clearly not where that is.
It's just better. No, I don't need to get off a public platform. That mentality is warped. Like, why should people be bullied off of platforms? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Why shouldn't the bullies be the ones getting off? You know what I mean? Why should they have a right to voice their opinion on YouTube? Like, you...
Do you see how angry she sounds still? This is the big thing, because she doesn't agree with people's rights to respond. She really doesn't. And I think there is definitely a Freudian slip, a range in the type of responses she gets. And I think some people go too far when they respond. I do 100% recognize that there are elements to some of the responses she gets which definitely could be defined as harassment. Yeah? So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, she's never ever right. Yeah, but she applies that to anybody who reacts to her softly, not so softly, anything in between. So she doesn't differentiate very well between types of reactions and types of opinions and the intentions behind them. She's just like, no, commentary is bad. No, I don't want an answer. I just want agreement. And this is what this is causing. And for all she's trying to protect her channel so she can hold it up and say, no, look, I said I didn't want to be part of it, so don't stop me. The rage that fueled a lot of the action she's taken for the last few weeks, and indeed you could argue the last few years of her channel, it's still there and it's still simmering, and she doesn't want to be making this at all.
Shanny, and I want to say something about Shanny.
Okay, I've skipped through. There's a few elements we're going to touch on here. I'm sure you know which ones are coming. But a lot of the stuff I'm skipping through is just her reiterating what she's already said in terms of, I don't understand why people are allowed to do this, and it's not fair, and, you know, I don't want public commentary, in which case get off the sovereign public platform, but, you know, we shouldn't have to get off the platform. And no, I don't think, if you want to stay, I don't think you should have to get off. But if you choose to stay, you've got to accept that there is a give and take there, and that there is a balance there, and that public positions invite public reactions. And that's going to be true so long as she's on this platform. Because like I said a few videos ago, YouTube is not your mum. It's not there to make sure you don't get your feelings hurt and to be, no, sweetheart, let me take care of them. It's there to make money and to run ads. It's there to get people watching. And so long as you're doing that, they'll give you a certain amount of leeway, but there are certain things you don't get to do. And I think they're much more likely to go after your racism, because there is a rule in terms of protected classes and unchangeable attributes that would apply there that doesn't apply to a lot of the stuff that people react to with you. And whether you think that's fair or not, I think you need to accept that this is reality rather than fair. Does that make sense? There are certain realities to doing what you do that do not change, and if you can't accept them, you need to change what you're doing. And that's the thing she struggles a lot with, and she doesn't think that's fair. But we're going into a conversation about Shanny for Christ, who is, I heard she, like someone, I think it was Just Saying, posted on Twitter that she deleted a channel, that she had a bit of a rant and deleted her channel. I didn't watch through the whole video, but apparently she did. But if you don't know, she's got a history with a user called Shanny for Christ, who is a racist, and regularly sends her large super chats. Yeah, so she's just sent her a large super chat. I think it was a large super chat. And now she's just going to talk about Shanny for Christ for a second.
I hope you really don't, I don't mean any offense. I don't really watch that much YouTube anymore. So I don't really, Shanny, it's no offense, I don't watch, you know what I'm saying, I don't really watch that many people anymore. I do once in a while. So I've seen a lot of people hating on Shanny, saying she said some things or whatever. You know what, and that, like, I support what other people say or do without even really knowing them. Just because they give me super chats, I'm still going to be thankful for people donating. I'm not going to start just judging people and looking into people and researching people who want to follow me. Everybody.
Oh, this is an issue. Okay. To an extent, I agree you can't vet everybody who follows you. Yeah, and I don't watch that much YouTube anymore as much as I used to. I follow certain things, but I'm not going to go in and check everybody's channel. But she has a history with Shanny, and Shanny donates a lot. And quite aside from the fact, if it was separate from Chantal and Shanny, just as a person receiving a super chat and a viewer, yeah, nice job in being like, yeah, I'm not going to look at your channel or anything, but thanks for the money. It's not the nicest. But this isn't that issue. You might miss certain things about your followers if you don't go in and check. I get that happens occasionally. But Shanny is an element of your channel that many people have commented on, enough that you are commenting on it right now. So to say, oh, well, I don't know those things, so I'm not going to be blamed. You just want the money. You don't care if she's racist or if she's not, but you do know these things because many, many people have brought it to your attention. And so long as you're getting the money, you don't care. And that's a choice you get to make, but be aware of how that looks on you. And to say, oh, well, I don't really follow Shanny, so, keep giving me the money, but don't blame me for anything, I don't think is a good look on you right here. And I don't think it's a valid excuse with everything else that's gone down.
Everybody has a right to watch my channel, to be a supporter.
Everybody absolutely does, but consider how you're representing yourself when you accept that support. And I don't blame her for wanting the money. They make large donations and they do so regularly. But be aware that when you accept that, you also somewhat align yourself with that. And I admit in the moment it is hard. Like, someone sends you a super chat in a stream and you thank them, you might not know who they are. You may not know their history. You're not going to stop and be like, hang on a minute. You've got no way of returning the super chat, but hang on a minute, let me go look you up. It's unrealistic. But you don't ever denounce the things that Shanny says, and you're aware of them. You are definitely aware of them. And that's a choice you're making. It's a choice you get to make, but it's a choice you're making.
I'm sorry, but thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, and the other one, $24.99. Thank you guys.
Thought she wasn't meant to be. She's driving. She's not meant to be checking those things. Like, please keep your eye on the dark road you're currently driving now.
I can't watch. I cannot. I just seen the color of the super chat come up, but I can't.
Well,
really.
You saw the color of the super chat, but you stopped to read the fact that it was $24.99.
Look at. I know that you guys are here. My supporters are here. I can generally sometimes see.
If you want to do this live and you're aware that it's full of your supporters and you're getting these super chats, pull over and do it safely. No one forced you to do this live right now other than your own brain and your own lack of restraint. Pull over and do it safely and show that you value their support enough to wait on it and it be slightly inconvenient to you.
Anyway, I don't know what's going on in the chat right now. I could probably watch the chat replay later, honestly, I will. So thank you for your kind words. I know a lot of you are leaving them, and I know my moms are here for support. It's so weird, I can feel it. I can feel your presences. I just wanted to get that off my mind, and honestly, I really do feel, you know what, you want to know with my community posts, I'm very impulsive, okay?
I knew she was going to say impulsive.
But also, I kind of sort of feel intimidated. I get I go off and I voice my opinion on my community posts.
You were right the first time. You go off.
I think when I want to do that, I think I'll try to be less angry and less
That'd be nice.
scathing, and just like,
I don't think she comes off as scathing because I don't think she's able to articulate her opinions that way. She comes off as angry and bitter, but scathing implies an impact that I don't necessarily think she achieves.
you get a point across more. There's some people who will never hear your voice, and you can't change that, but there's some who will. And I think when you are aggressive, people just automatically put on a block, you know, like so anyway, but I also feel kind of intimidated, like
Poor Chantal, her life is so hard. She starts these dramas or gets involved in these dramas and then she can't handle it, and you should be kind to her. Come on now.
thank you for the super chat. I'll have to Angie Lee.
Angie Lee was in and out of her comments saying she really needed to spoke to her. Wow, English. But I'd be interested to see where that goes. I don't have much information on Angie Lee. I did subscribe to her just because she seemed to be building drama everywhere. I'm gonna have to see what's happened or what is happening, but I occasionally click in. I see her on the threads in Kiwi Farms, and I'd be interested why she's so determined to contact everybody and for what, but I haven't checked in on her channel to see if she's mentioned it.
I feel like I put something up and then I feel kind of like, I don't know, I feel almost scared, like voicing my opinion in a way. You know what I mean?
Eternal victim?
I don't know.
No one's coming to your house. No one's got a gun to your head. You're not scared. You're hoping everyone will support you, and when there's some balance in the response, or not even balance, when there's an equal and opposite reaction to your action, you can't handle it. That is what's happening here.
And then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't post that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe listen to that voice pre-posting.
Anyways. And then I get like mad at myself,
Yeah.
like, why am I addressing this? Like, fuck.
We say, into 30 minutes into a 45-minute video addressing thing you're saying you're not addressing.
You know what I mean? Like, over and over, like, just like,
Still
it's
here.
not, like, who cares? Oh.
There are moments like this, I'm laughing, it's a serious thing. I'm not laughing because it's funny exactly, but I'm just like, serious. It must be so exhausting to live in her brain, to recognize her actions sometimes for what they are and not change them. It's so exhausting to live in circles like this.
You know, have an Instapot now, I have a Dutch oven, a big overweight, say that, but you know what? I'm learning a lot behind the scenes. Deprivation and completely depriving yourself, I mean, it's very, very, very toxic to some.
Okay, I'm going to skip through the next few things. She talks a little bit about the new kitchen gadgets she's ordered, about how deprivation is very bad for her, which can be argued when you're dealing with eating disorders that you definitely don't have and never mentioned here on YouTube or haven't for a long time. When you're dealing with those eating disorders, deprivation can be a problem. But I mean, I still think that health cycle's going on, or she's trying to do it with all the doctors in her life right now, but we'll move on. It's not the issue here. I'm just going to skip forward to when she talks about the future president she would like to see, because that's an issue. But it's more of the same, talking about, you know, what she's doing off camera. We've all heard it before.
Somebody who's overcoming any kind of eating problem. I'm telling you guys.
The conversation moves into her having a lot of Trump supporters in her chat, and how we should all just be positive online, and we should all be able to have different opinions without having arguments. Let that sink in for a second. And something she's been trying to do throughout this video, but keeps just losing it, is she's been trying to be her positive, hi guys, hi influencer self, and then keeps getting dragged back into the conversations that make her angry and bitter. But she's clearly trying to rebrand herself again and shift her image away from a lot of the stuff that's been going on recently. So that's how the conversation turns to politics. It's the her saying, you know, we have differing opinions, but you know. So having started kind of turned the conversation to politics and how we all need to be a little bit nice, having not denounced Shanny as a racist because she's been giving her big super chats, having doubled down on the Charlie Cole thing and all the stuff around it, this live stream leads to this.
I said what I needed to say about these like racist accusations. I've said everything I needed to say, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're not going to denounce a racist giving you money because they're giving you money. You've said
anyways. You know what? I would really like to see, I'm just going to say this about the election, just looking at Trump and Biden together, even the friggin' prime ministers of Canada makes me barf because, you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a colored woman be president.
Chantal, my darling, please stop. Please stop because you're making it worse. Yeah? The sentiment that actually it would be great to see a person of color in the White House because it's literally a White House most of the time. Barack Obama notwithstanding, clearly. And that it would be great to have a woman leader is a great one. It's very, very suspicious timing given all the other stuff you've done and said recently. You'd be like, look guys, I can't be a racist because I want a colored woman in the White House. Do you hear the terminology you're using? Are you from the 1960s? Is that what's happened here? Guys, her problem is that she keeps talking. Her problem, well, she's got much deeper problems with that. She's never going to be able to make this better, but for the love of God, stop making it worse. If you know you're not going to be able to articulate what you want to say, just don't say it. Because you're not making this better for yourself.
Heck, even a woman for president, for crying out loud.
I am a warrior for representation of all kinds.
You know?
Despite the fact that not half an hour ago.
You know what? People say that. Well, mind your business, you're Canadian. If you don't think that what happens in the U.S., the decisions that the President of the United States makes doesn't have a ripple effect on the rest of the world, that's pure ignorance right there.
I'd be very careful throwing around the word ignorant right now. Yes? Yes. What she's saying is not wrong. America is a large power. It has a ripple effect. Canada is particularly susceptible to it. But throwing around the word ignorant right now is a mistake.
Number one, we're neighbors, okay? If you don't think that people don't feel the American influence on the rest of the world, come on now, get your head out of the sand. We have every right to be aware of what's going on in the
She's so enlightened, you guys. How dare you? Jesus Christ with this.
United States, okay? So, we all need to be globally aware of one another. Because we all affect the world. We all have relations with one another. It makes a difference. Trump's policies on COVID are going to affect us. They're going to affect our economy with the...
Nobody's policies on COVID have affected you. Let's be entirely clear. Not Canada's, not America's, nobody's, because you haven't been following them.
Trade. They're going to affect, deaths. They're going to affect if everything, like policies that happen over there. Same thing with us, So we have a right to a political opinion, even if we're in another country.
Everybody has rights to an opinion, but
so
I'm just saying, as someone giving my opinion.
Don't be so xenophobic, okay?
No, because clearly, guys, she's not racist, she's a feminist, she's not xenophobic. How dare you? How dare you, having not denounced a racist less than 30 minutes ago, how dare you make those assumptions about her?
Anyway, that's about it for me. I've said all I have to say.
You've said more than you should have said.
I'm gonna try to keep this up and not be a wuss. I'm sure it won't be monetized.
Of course not.
Oh, you can't say colored?
How did someone have to tell her? God. I can't remember what her live chat looked like. I'm like I said, I downloaded this. I can't remember if a lot of people were like, excuse me, madam, that's not something people should have to tell you. My God, this woman. I'm sure other people have done reactions at this point. Like I said, I've been busy the last 2 days. I'll let somebody else articulate this fully, shall I? But Jesus Christ. The fact that you sit there thinking what you're saying is okay is more indicative of your state of mind than anything you actually say. The fact that you don't see that as a problem, that someone has to tell you that terminology has connotations. But this is the woman who doubled down on Charlie Cole, so why are we surprised, really? But this whole video was about promoting positivity and getting away from the drama, and she shoots herself in the foot so much and so often. She's speaking of the word ignorant. I mean, really, even if the timing were incredibly suspicious, because she's desperately trying to prove how inclusive she is and how non-racist and how non-against any particular group she is and how enlightened she is, which she's clearly not. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Help me understand.
Oh, sorry. I honestly, like, a black woman president. What
Okay, no, don't. No, honestly, a black woman president. You skim over the terminology you've just used.
Honestly, something other than old, friggin', wrinkly, gray-haired white men.
I swear to God, if the next thing out of her mouth is like, no, I love black people so much, they should have their own rooms and their own water fountains. Really?
Sorry, but it's true. Like, friggin' creek. There's never been a female president, ever.
You're very enlightened.
Come on.
Congratulations.
Cut us some slack. Ramona for president!
I
Oh,
can't believe she left up this live for as long as she did, having said this. Like, it took her a while. Maybe Pete's needed to explain it to her again, I don't know. But she hasn't uploaded a video since, so we're gonna see.
She's not American.
Alright, I think I might
guys,
be done here.
Thank you.
Let me just check.
For
Alright, so many things. I think I've gone through them mostly. All the same complaints. She's clearly concerned that her channel's going to be taken down. She's said it again. She needs to stop talking about social issues. She needs to stop with everything, because guys, this is ridiculous. If she can't pretend well enough, she needs to stop trying, and she needs to stick to eating on camera, because everything else is getting her in trouble. And if after all the conversations that have been had with her, in the beginning very seriously and very with good intent to be like, this isn't acceptable for these reasons, if after all this time and all these so-called apologies and all this walking back and all that, then you go like, oh, I'm not going to denounce Shanny because she gives me money and all of that, if at this point you're still using terminology like you're using and either not seeing the problem or pretending not to see the problem, you're racist and you need to stop. And if you're just doing it for the views, you're a horrible person who's also a racist and needs to stop. This isn't something you should continue with. You're clearly not capable of being sorry or changing your behavior. So just stop and never mention it again. Keep it off your channel, because you don't seem to be able to do anything else. All right, I'm gonna leave you there, guys. I'm gonna try and edit this together. I know we jumped around a lot, but there's only so much we can do. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.